Hello and welcome to GlitchCube, we're a gaming podcast, and each week we take a deeper look into the art of video games. As always, I'm Christian.
I'm Chris.
And for the 300th time, well, I guess technically a little bit more because we've done some side episodes, but for the 300th official episode, once again, we are here talking about games, talking with you guys, and just so stoked to still be here, man. Like, it's so crazy to think that we started this thing. I feel like we say this every 100 episodes, right? So it's the third time you're probably hearing this, but the fact that we started in 2020, we're still doing this damn thing since 6 years, and we've been posting consistently every Monday. Like, we have our core group of people that are listening, and we love you guys for that. So thank you so much for being a part of this with us, and just seeing how much the show has evolved, but not just the show, but us as well, right? Like, I feel like every time we talk about this or we reminisce about it, we always talk about how much the flow has become easier, right? And our ability to help tell a story and lead it in a good direction and just feel that pacing out just naturally, right? And I think it's kind of amazing that we both can do this without visual cues, right? Without anything like that. We just know when to pick up the pace, when to slow things down, when to like say something, right? Like, we have a great ebb and flow for that. And it's just been so much fun doing this show for these last 6 years. And like I said, it's free therapy, you know, like we're forced to think about something that we love every single week. And, you know, we really do love games. I think that's kind of obvious at this point, right? It's been 6 years, but
yeah,
like, there's something about games that just keeps us coming back. And I think that's one of the big questions that I want to ask first. And I know I didn't spring this on you before. I just thought about it right now. But like, why games? Like, what is it? Like, have we ever really like dove into that question of like, what is it about games that really resonates with us, that makes us want to keep going, keep exploring, keep like playing things, trying out new ones, checking out new genres, going back to the old classics, right? Like, what is it about this like escape for us that just resonates so much?
I feel like it's just easier to get into it, you know? Like, I've been thinking about other like avenues, right, of like media and stuff. And like, I was thinking about books, and it's like, I've been trying, like, I like to read books, don't get me wrong, I'm not against them, but it's just, it's hard to fit books into my life sometimes, because it's just like, I don't know, at the end of the day, I just want to play a game, you know? And talking about a game also feels easier than talking about a book, as I feel like a book, you know, stories can be so long, so detailed, that like, I guess I've never really thought about it. Like, how would you kind of like analyze a book compared to a game? You know, with a game, it's easy because you can be like, oh, the graphics, the music, the blah, 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 all of that. Whereas with a book, it's like, okay, they're writing, like, you know, like how well is this thought out? Like, there's that. But I'm just like, and then you look at movies and I'm like,
well, and if
like, yeah. I don't know, movies, I feel like there's so many people that do that already that it's kind of like, what opinion am I going to offer that's going to be really any different, right? With games, it's, I know it's easy to say, oh, there's enough things to talk about with games, but sometimes like you see other people and it's just copying another person's idea and maybe adding one thing to it. And it's like, I don't know, that's kind of why I'm glad we did this, because I felt like, you know, when we started this like 6 years ago, I kind of thought, man, like, people are just talking about the same games. They're all sounding, you know, either all positive or all negative on one thing. There's not much variance. And it's like either people are only with retro or only. Well, it's because hate brings a lot of views, right? Because, I mean, think about all the media, right? if
Mm-hmm.
people get mad, people are more interested to leave a comment, or they're more interested in, even when it's just like your shared hatred for something, it's easier to bond over that, unlike a love for a thing. Because this is going to sound kind of, I hope I word this right, but a lot of people can easily hate something, even if they haven't really fully experienced it. It's easy to jump on a bandwagon and hate something. Whereas showing a passion or a love for something is a little more difficult because you have to experience it, right? You can't just like make up like, oh yeah, I love this. And then like, okay, you ask that person a thing and they're not going to know. And I think a lot of that comes from this, not parasocial kind of relationship people have with influencers, streamers, all of that. It's just, it's hard to jump into a conversation with someone who's passionate about, I don't know, say like Persona. And then this person is like, it's hard for someone to be like, oh yeah, I love it, because I feel like you have to be obligated to kind of like have an idea about it, right? I mean, sure, you could lie, but it's just so much easier to all say, we hate the new, oh man, what's the new game everyone's hating? The new Halo, right? Everyone's going to hate the new remake. Like, it's easy to jump on that bandwagon because you don't really have to know much. You can just jump on it. And I think a lot of people nowadays, it's interesting because I've been seeing questions asked. And granted, this is the internet, so it's a little different, right? But a lot of people experience games just from watching other people. And it kind of brings up that question, like, can people actually who just watch someone else play get the same emotional impact from watching rather than playing? And that's been something that's been kind of on my mind. And I've been thinking, oh, it'd be kind of fun to maybe do an episode on it. But I think now is the perfect time just to talk about it. But
I like that idea.
I've noticed that. Like, I've talked to people from old jobs where they're like, yeah, we just, we'll play Fortnite, but then we'll just watch a streamer play like a single player game. And, I remember there was one guy I worked with, and he was like saying he loved Silent Hill, right? Like, he loves Silent Hill 2, all of that. And I was like trying to talk to him about like, oh yeah, like I really like it too. Do you remember this? Like, what are your thoughts on the different like creatures and stuff? And he was like, well, I'm gonna be honest, like I really just liked it because I liked watching so-and-so stream it because they were funny and they made it interesting. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, if the person had a good experience like just watching someone, but it's also kind of hard when you want to have a conversation with someone who didn't experience it, like, with their own mind going through the same motions. And
they're more like regurgitating the emotions of the person that they were watching.
Yes. And it's like, I've noticed that's become more and more of a thing where people are like that, or people now, it's like an aesthetic, right? Like, you'll see people that like, especially horror games, because it has a cool aesthetic or it has a certain vibe where it's like, oh yeah, like I look cool because, I only like PlayStation 2 horror games, and everyone's going to be like, yeah, me too. But it's like, okay, have you, like, I don't want to sound like I'm gatekeeping because I don't want to, but it's like,
but have you actually played them?
But it's like, okay, you're going to see someone talking about Ruler Rose, Haunting Ground, stuff like that. And it's like, I highly doubt someone's played those because sometimes those games are a little rough, especially for people that might not be used to those kind of games. And, when you're watching someone, you're not going to fully get that because maybe the person you're watching is just really good at those games. So you're not going to get that level of difficulty. And I don't know, like, I'm also just the kind of person that I want to experience everything. I don't really want to watch someone else play a single player game if I intend of one day playing it, right? I'll watch people play stuff if it's something that I probably will never get to. And I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of these people are too. But I don't know. I'm not going to go out there and say like I'm this huge fan of something, even though I've never like physically experienced it, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And experiencing a game, like, because I'm guilty of that too. Like, I've watched entire playthroughs of games that I've never touched.
Yeah.
Right. And it is really enjoyable. It is an
Mhm.
enjoyable way of experiencing a title because you have a proxy that you're watching, right? Like you get to watch the streamer react to these things. You get to feel like you're a part of that. It kind of reminds me of, back in the day watching my uncle or my father play games and I was just on the couch watching them play, right? Like it's a nice feeling. It does feel good. But when it comes to actually experiencing these games, I think it, like you said, when you experiencing different types of media is so different, right? Like with a book, yeah, it's a very personal thing, and it is kind of hard to talk about a book with someone that has not read the book too, or is not
Mhm.
familiar with that author's writing styles, right? Or with a movie, everyone is a critic nowadays, right? Everybody has an opinion on movies, but in my opinion, most people will bash a movie just because they heard someone else bash a movie, right?
Yeah.
And it 9 times out of 10, you look at some of these movies that are rated so poorly, and when I watch it, I'm like, I liked it, like I had fun with it. It was goofy at points, whatever, but I enjoyed it. So like taking those criticisms out, like I think is really important. But when it comes to experiencing a video game itself, like that is, in my opinion, like I love reading, I love movies, I love all forms of escapism like that. But there's something special about playing a single player game or just being able to play through a story that you get really, really immersed in it because you're no longer just a passenger in the story, seeing where the tides take you, right? When you're reading a book or watching a movie, you are directing the current, right? Like you are captaining that ship through that game and you are the one making those decisions. Like you're the one feeling the struggles when it gets difficult. Like you have to figure out and solve those problems in order to get to the next point. It's not just turn the page and then, oh, there's the resolution, right? Or if you're watching a video game being played in front of you, you're not just watching someone who's really, really good at those games just get to the resolution quickly, right? And there's something very special about that aspect. And I think that's something that I've really appreciated my whole life, right? Like playing single player games is being able to really escape into a different kind of world for a little bit. And like growing up, yeah, like I had some, we all go through our own personal traumas, right? We all have our things that we deal with. And I feel like games were always there to help me relax, to get away. It was like a minor reprieve from any sort of problems that I had in my life during that time. And I think that's really stemmed and like created a true passion for this stuff and talking about it. And like you said earlier, it's a lot easier to hate on things than it is to love things. And I think that's for a couple different reasons, right? One of the big things is it's really hard to share your passions with somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there's so much stigma and fear of ridicule whenever you bring up something that you really, really enjoy, right? And I remember feeling that a lot growing up when it came to certain games or even in high school talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Like immediately people have this stigma or like, oh, you like games, you're a nerd, right? Like all this stuff. So it's always been really difficult to really share that joy with other people and being like, because it's something different. Like you go up to somebody and you're like, oh, I read this great book and let me explain all of these things to you. And people are more likely to listen to you talk about a book rather than listen to you talk about lore in a video game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still like, while it's a professional field, it is a very valid way of telling a story. It is a perfect medium for this stuff, but it still has that stigma of being a video game, right? So it's not looked at as professional. It's something that kids do, right? And it's very interesting that stigma is still there. So I think one of the big things that I really enjoy about our show and how we've been able to do this whole time is I don't think we've ever really talked negatively about anything at this point, right?
Kind of. There's been times where I've kind of like said something was not good, but it's never been like
Right.
we're like, you know how people play it up where they're like, this game is awful, this is like we're not that angry video game
like
nerd.
Avowed.
Yeah.
Remember that whole
yeah.
Like
Yeah, we've never been like
we both really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Like
but we see the problem.
Like I've played bad games, but like half the time I don't feel like talking about them, and also nowadays I feel like it's so easy to just not play a bad game because you can see what other people say and you just kind of have an idea. And like, I don't know, for me, when I play a game I'm not enjoying, I just stop playing it. You know, I'll mention if there's a game I did not enjoy, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I get it, right? It's easy for you just to hate on something, but I don't know. I don't see us. I don't see us giving that energy of even getting worked up enough, right?
Right. And the other thing I wanted to talk about too is about like being able to talk about something that you enjoy is difficult, because I feel like a lot of times, even as kids, you're not taught to really expand on why you liked something, right? Like a lot of times it's like, oh, did you like it? It's like, yeah. And then cool, end of conversation, right? Or it's more of like, oh, if you didn't like something, people then have questions of why didn't you like that, right? And instead of being able to focus on the things that you really enjoyed about something, we focus more on negative things when it comes to that question. And I feel like that really stems from childhood. And I think that's something that really needs to be drilled in or like kind of made part of the normal everyday thing. It's like whenever a kid says they really enjoy something, ask them why did they enjoy it, and like have them expand on that so they can really start focusing on the joy of things, right? Like the thing that brought them their true excitement, so they can really know what they love and why they love that thing, right? And I think that really hit hard for me actually in one of my video game design classes with Mr. Foreman. Rest in peace, Mr. Foreman. You've inspired me so much. You're the reason why I'm a teacher now, right? But like in his class, we had to do a lot of breakdowns of games, right? And there was one project in particular where we had to compare and contrast one game that we absolutely loved and one game that did not resonate with us, right? And he worded it that way specifically. It was not like a love and why'd you hate this game, because he didn't want hate speech, right? It's why didn't this resonate with you, right? What made you bounce off? Was it the mechanics? Was it this? Was it that, right? And when we had to talk about a game that we liked, so many people would bring up a game and be like, oh, I played this game all the time. I loved it. It was great. And then that was it, end of conversation. But then the slides that had to do with the games that they bounced off of, they had like multiple slides as to why they didn't like this thing, right? And I remember all the people that had slides like that, where it was like really one-sided towards the hate, right? He failed them. He failed them on that assignment. And the goal was to find what worked, what spoke to you, and why did that speak to you. And you had to be able to fully articulate that enjoyment and explain it to other people, but like break it down, because it's a video game design class, right? Like what mechanics actually worked and why did those mechanics work, right? Like what specific things actually made you enjoy your time or your immersion in this game opposed to the other things that did not, right? And I really appreciate that. Like I try and do that now, where like I look at what I like and try and figure out exactly what is it that I like about that product, right? Instead of just being like, oh yeah, I enjoyed it, right? Like no, like you need to have the words to say why you enjoyed something, which I think is very important.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I thought it would be cool. Like let's look back at some of these old episodes, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a quick gander and see what we did back in the day in 2020. You know, like our very first episode, and I really think that it would be great. You know, it's episode 300. We're 6 years in. We've definitely grown a lot. We've had a lot of different life experiences. Things have changed. I mean, shoot, you're a dad now, right? Like,
yeah.
Wait, hang on. You got married and you're a dad, right? Like,
That's
that all
true.
happened while we were still doing this.
Yep.
So, like, that's That's crazy right there. And I've gone through so many different careers. I found I'm a teacher now. I've become fully credentialed. Like it's a lot's happened in 6 years. So it would be amazing to see like viewpoints, or with how much not just our lives and our views in the worlds have changed, but just how much the gaming industry has changed as well. Looking back at some of these old episodes and seeing what's changed in these past 6 years, because if you really think about it, gaming hasn't been around for that long, right? Like it's still a pretty young market, like
especially the way we know it.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to look back and be like, oh, games have been around since the 70s, or if you want to be actually it's like 60s, but like the gaming that we know, it really hasn't been that long. And it's like there's so many times where, I don't know, within 5 years or something totally different. I think we're kind of reaching a point where we're not seeing that as often, but I'm just thinking about just from, I'm looking at our first episode and it was October 5th, 2020. And I'm like, man, the gaming industry has changed so much just within that amount of time.
Yeah. But gosh, that's so crazy. But the very first episode, and I remember us being so adamant about this topic, right? It was the gaming or depression in games.
Yeah.
And how they can be helpful as like a guiding light to guide you through your depression, and finding games that help deal with that. And I felt like that was really one of the first aspects of really telling or using games as an art form to tell a story to help people, right? And I feel like nowadays that's even more prominent, is the aspect of a storytelling or being able to help deal with grief in very interesting ways, right? Like that you see grief as a motif in a lot of games, and like the personal growth of the characters as they go through these things, and like being a player and being able to experience it, going back to the whole like watching versus playing. I think for certain games like that, like you have to play it in order to really appreciate those things. Or like even with like It Takes Two, right? Like before, like depression or games that help deal with depression, we were talking about like That Dragon Called Cancer, things like that, very on the nose, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even games now where they have like co-op games that couples can go through, that could be looked at as couples therapy, right? Like it is something important to say, and like It Takes Two had a really important message to tell as well when it came to things like that, right? And I think that's so amazing that now, not like this whole guiding light of through depression in games doesn't have to be a solo experience anymore. Like you can do it with somebody. You can have a support system there with you while you're playing these games too. And like they've definitely changed a lot in that way, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, man, it's just hard to kind of like pick, when you think about like, I think like when before all this, right? Just in the past 10 years, you look back and it was like the PS4 and stuff, like they were still, popping off really big. And it was like kind of an improvement over the PS3, that era. Indie games were becoming big and everything kind of just felt fresh, new. I know a lot of people during that time like to say, oh, gaming's kind of dying, right? I mean, they always say that. But indie games felt so fresh and different. And, the AAA games were, decent. They were becoming more cinematic, which I think that was one of the big turning points for AAA games. And, when you look back, since this current generation, sure, there's some fidelity changes, but like there's nothing too crazy. And then, gameplay wise or like systems wise, it's like we're starting to see a lot of like genres that are like merged all around and something different. But it's like a lot of the big changes have all been like the industry as a whole, right? A lot of studios closing just because of economic issues, right? The pandemic really kind of made things possible, but also kind of destroyed things in the long picture. And,
Yeah, and we're still feeling those ramifications, right? Like with the prices, the fact that some studios found out that they can do it smaller, right? Like,
yeah,
but they're not pumping out. I feel like it doesn't feel like the same passion projects. It's more like cash grabs to keep the doors open now, right?
it's
Like they found a model that works, and then it's rinse and repeat from there, right? Like look at the whole battle royale craze, right? Or
kind of
the
like,
like Souls like games, like those kind of things.
yeah, it just takes one game of a genre to just kick off. And I mean, what the last thing that's really been big is like friend slop stuff, right? Like those have been big, and they honestly, I think they will continue to be big. Because I mean, look at Mecha Chameleon, right? Game is
Right.
sold in such an insane amount, and I mean, it is pretty original. It is really it.
Yeah.
To me, it is like, I know the game Peak exists, but it's like peak for that kind of game because it is very original. It takes, a prop hunt kind of approach or like hide and seek and takes it and makes it 50 times better versus a lot of these other like co-op adventures where it's like, oh, we got to run from this entity, or, look at Schedule 1 where it's like, oh, we're drug dealers. Like it's all just variations off of one thing until someone kind of creates something just a little new and then it pops off. And when battle royales first popped up, that was kind of the first time that I feel like they noticed these trends that just blow up, right? Because I'm not going to look back, 20 years ago and be like, oh, yes, Capture the Flag really blew up and that changed multiplayer gaming. Like, that was a different time, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about stuff that becomes viral in a way that it does. And, definitely.
Dude, remember when Red Rover was like the hot game in the park? Fool.
Oh, man.
That was the
Hopscotch. But like,
oh, boy.
Tetherball
fighting for that pole.
Pogs. No. But, Twitch definitely had a hand in that. Right before that, it was YouTube. But, because of that kind of change, it allowed these genres to really blow up. And I mean, battle royales nowadays, like, they're just there, right? They're not the cream of the crop anymore, right? Extraction shooters got popular and then they kind of died off. Like, they're still there. And this friend stuff is kind of the one that's kind of been sticking, but it's a bubble that's just kind of waiting to pop, and you kind of wonder, like, well, what's the next big kind of viral thing? Like, what's the next big style of game? And obviously these big companies are trying to find that, right? Like, that's how they want to make their money. But do I think we're reaching a point where we're not going to be able to think of anything like out of the box, like left field style of game? I feel like we still see new takes on genres. It's just by very small studios that don't have a lot of, marketing and stuff. And
it's more passion projects than AAA titles now.
Exactly. With live service stuff, it's been shown that it's hit or miss, and then a lot of people don't want to take a gamble on that anymore. And I don't know, just thinking about like how, when we talked about the depression episode with games that kind of dealt with that issue, you see so many more now because it's easier to make games, I would say. So people have more of an option to voice their story, right? Like when I played Ann Roger, when I played, there was something recently, that I played that it was like, you're like milk outside of a bag, like that game dealing with that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of these games dealing with trauma in different ways. It's a topic that's being handled differently even from 6 years ago, which Like, I would love to
Mhm.
do another depression episode, but kind of maybe do it differently, right? Like, kind of like talk about how some of these games explore trauma in a way that's almost like as if it's like built for healing in a way, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
I don't know, there's so many things that could be like evolved from those episodes. Like, look at idle games. Like, that was our second episode, right? And it's like,
Right.
idle games are so different nowadays. Granted, it's the same damn thing, but think about like Rusty's Retirement, right? Where it's like not even a game window, it's just a bar that you can put on your desktop, and you can literally be doing something else on the internet, and it's just there idling away. Like, idle games,
Right.
even though it's a very basic concept, has evolved in a way that feels pretty different. And I don't know, it's kind of fascinating to see, because I was listening to that episode the other day because I was like, oh man, what were we talking about? And it's kind of cool, how that was like Cookie Clicker and some of the other games that were kind of big around the time. And now it's like, I don't know. I feel like people like idle games because it's just, you put it on, then you can do other stuff. But it's kind of
Yeah.
cool
It's
looking
that
back at
little
our old
dopamine kick
episodes.
just in the background.
I think
Yeah.
there's one
Yeah.
episode I really want to like go back to and really kind of, oh man, I feel like I could rant about this. And I feel like I have in an episode, but the nostalgia episode. Because think about it,
Mm-hmm.
6 years ago, we weren't really being nostalgia baited like we are nowadays. Like, when you're on social media, any of them, you're going to see accounts that are just baiting you with like all this nostalgia overload, right? I would say 6 years
Yeah.
ago, they were still trying to push the 90s in a way where they're like, oh yeah, you remember like this snack, you remember the Gushers commercials, like you remember, it's just like they were trying to push this image of like, I want to live in the 90s again. And now they're all doing with the 2000s. And, for me, the 90s was kind of like a weird one where I kind of was like, yeah, I mean, I was a kid, but I didn't really care for it. Now the nostalgia is reaching the 2000s. I'm like, uh-oh, like I could be affected by this because I do have an interest in a lot of this stuff, but it's become a topic that you just can't escape anymore. And I know it's not good to fully live in nostalgia, right? Like, it's good to progress with your life, but man, it's like the word has become so monetized that like
Right.
you could make a nostalgia channel for something and you're probably going to have thousands of views, and it's, low effort half the time. And it's just, I don't know, at the same time, it's like it it doesn't have the same feeling as it used to, because it always feels
Mm-hmm.
like they're just trying to, I don't know. It's like hard to put into words, but it's like kind of disgusting how often you see it nowadays where I'm like, oh God, it's like
Right.
a word that's thrown around. But yeah, it's weird looking back on all these episodes.
Yeah. I think that would be a great little thing here. And maybe the rest of this year or something like 2026 is our year of introspection, right? As we dive in, like we can dive into our past thoughts and the past ideas of the industry, because, like even AI in games has grown so much in just the past year where I don't really feel like that was even part of our conversation in the early episodes, right? Like in the gaming community. And now we're having games that are generated through AI, stories that are made by AI, right? Like it's definitely changing things, the way that stuff is being put out there. And it's changing the way that people are reacting to those things too, right? So like if they see something that's purely AI based, they immediately might think negatively of it, right? But it could be maybe it's a single person studio, it's easier, right? There's reasons to use these tools if they're used properly, that kind of thing. And I know we've talked a lot about AI in other shows, in this one, right? Like a lot, but that's definitely changed the gaming market completely as well, right? Whether it's with voiceovers or things like that too. So yeah, it would be really cool to like dive back in. And I just, man, like I just gotta say, I'm so stoked that we've been able to do this for 6 years. We're at 300 episodes in, and we're still just enjoying this process, right? Like, we don't have the biggest fan base, but like that's never really been like, yeah, it's always in the back of our mind, but like I don't know, there's something about it where like it's nice just being able to just talk to you. It's not probably I'm trying to get at, right? Like, it's nice being able to just chat about this with you every week and just have this moment, and like it's become a great little like a great little friendship that we have here, right? Like we've grown a lot from just that office, just those little chats there, and like being able to be a part of each other's lives like this and just share these moments and really have that connection of someone that has the same interest. And like, man, we're so like-minded, it's kind of scary, right? Like when like we both love the same things, we both like have like very similar opinions on just about everything.
Yeah.
That it's kind of insane, right? Like, I can't really think of many times that we've disagreed on something, because I don't know. It's just been awesome being able to chat with you about this stuff for as long as we have, and I'm so excited and stoked to see what else we come up with. And the fact that this enjoyment has branched into other shows that we wanted to put out there too, just because we both have such a curiosity for life and just an enjoyment for things that like we wanted to talk about more stuff, and it's been a blast, man. Like, these 6 years have been amazing, and I'm really excited to see what projects we come up with in the future, what more things we do, and I'm so stoked to see where GlitchCube goes in the next 6 years, right? Like, and to just watch this market evolve and see what else we can talk about. I honestly, like, I'm surprised that we still have stuff to talk about.
Definitely.
Like, every once in a while I look back and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I can't believe it, but I'm very, very stoked, and just want to say thank you, Chris, like, for being a part of this and just being on this journey with me, man. And thank you to the listeners for being a part of this. Like, we really do appreciate you guys. It really does mean a lot, and just the support of our families, even the family members that might listen and say every once in a while, like, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, but we love hearing you guys talk, right? Like, I get that a lot, and I love it. I'm like, just thank you so much for just, being here with us in this journey. So, yeah, here's to 300 more, man. Shit, let's keep going.
Hell yeah.
Okay, let's get to 1,000.
I'm down.
GlitchCube 1,000, right around the corner, man.
There's enough games to do it.
But anyway, yeah, I know. They keep coming out, man. And no signs of slowing down either, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys next week with some more games and all that good stuff. But we hope you guys have enjoyed this week and these past 6 years. And if you guys are new to the show, listen back on some of the old episodes and see the growth and see the changes, because I think that's kind of the beauty of the show, man, is that it's not really like, yeah, we talk about current events every once in a while, right? But like, a lot of it is really just like the introspective, the storytelling, the aspect of like what we've enjoyed about certain products, or like our just general thoughts in that way. I feel like it's like a time capsule rather than a current event machine, right? And there's something really special about that. So, but yeah, just big thank you to everybody. Thank you. We really do appreciate you all. But anyway, like I said, we'll talk to you guys next week with some more games and all that good stuff. But until then, bye for now.